My name is Yeside Kazeem. I'm a founder of the African Actuarial Development Academy, as well as a vice chair of the Africa Task Force. And with me today is Yvonne Palm, but I'll get her to introduce herself a bit further.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Palm. I am the Chief Risk Officer of Africa Re based in Lagos, Nigeria. I also volunteer for various IAA subgroups, including the Africa Subcommittee, as well as a few other CAS working groups, and also a co-founder of ADA.
Hello, Yvonne. My first question today for you is, how did your journey into the actuarial profession begin?
I think I'm one of the few people that actually learned about the actuarial profession while I was in high school. I was in Botswana. And it was actually my geography teacher that told me about it. So she had a daughter who was looking into it and she heard about it. She was like, Yvonne, I think you should look into this. I think it'll suit you. And sounded really interesting because, I think growing up in Botswana, maybe in many African countries, if you're doing well at school, especially back then, everyone expected you to be a doctor or a lawyer. I didn't like the sight of blood and I hate reading. So neither of them were going to work for me. So that when I heard this, I was like, oh, interesting. Then also there were only two actuaries in the whole country at that time. So I was like intrigued because I also didn't want to do something that was that common. So I happened to be able to meet one of these actuaries, had a meeting with him, and he spent the entire meeting trying to convince me that it would be too hard for me to do. So, of course, being me, I was like, well, I'm going to show you. And that was it. Someone's telling me it's too hard to do. I was like, well, I'm going to do it then. So I got hooked.
So it seems like you're always up for a challenge. What unique challenges, if any, have you faced in this field, given you're so up for challenges?
This is a really interesting question. It changes depending on what environment I am in or was in. When I worked in the US, it was more having to do with race, like interacting with people and having to do with race. Like, are you treating me this way because of my race? Things like that. And that was many, many years ago as well. Then I moved to the UK, and this sort of changed to more interacting with people and noticing like women were being treated a bit differently. I noticed that a lot of women within the profession were dropping out at certain points in time. I, I just noticed that interaction changing a bit more. And then as I moved to Nigeria, where I am now, that even deepened. So this interacting with people and seeing how they responded to me either because of my race, my gender, or my age. I think those are the things that I have found most challenging. Those are things that I found most challenging. It had nothing to do with the technical side of my job. I loved the technical side of my job. Like you said, I like a challenge. So I loved learning. I love the fact that I have to think about what I'm doing and apply myself. But it really was that sort of softer side that I have found very challenging in the way people react to me in different environments. On top of that, I'm a person with, I'm not shy. I'm a person that speaks up. So especially when I moved to Nigeria, being younger, being female, people don't expect you to talk so much. They expect you to just agree with everything. And I'm not a person that does that, right? So I'm a person that if if I have a point to say, if I don't agree, I will let you know. You can do whatever you want with that information, make a different decision, but I will let you know because there's a different point of view to be known, right? So that I think has been quite challenging for me in finding the right balance. And I must say, how I have addressed it in many times has to do with finding allies who can relate to me and I can work with and can give me ideas, and then also keeping my network. So I always had a network, always have a network of maybe people who have similar experiences to me that I can bounce off ideas with. We might go out for dinner, talk about what's going on, give each other advice. So that's sort of what I do.
It sounds like every main country you've worked in has had an impact somewhat on you. Uh,
Definitely.
yeah.
And all the environments that you work in are different. So there's bound to be something that you need to adjust to.
Definitely. And you've used your expert judgment along the way.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Yeside. Nice to see you again.